All right, welcome back to another sick pod. This week we don't have Caleb. He's sick. We wish him well and he gets better soon. Um, this week we are discussing traveling while trying to stay on plan, which is so perfect this week because I had my brother's wedding this past weekend, and all my meals went to shit. So me and my partner always pack our meals. Like we actually bring a cooler, and we pack our meals in there, and like people are like, what? Because it's like taped. We tape it down, and people are like, what are these guys, like, what's in that cooler? Some guy actually, we were getting it off the belt one time. He goes, I hope that's beer. We're like, kind of the opposite. But this week they did not make it. They smelled bad. So I actually had a client today, literally today, after we talked about what the podcast was going to be. I had a client, John, who I will be sending this to right after this, because he's like, hey, I'm traveling the next couple of weeks. What should I do? And I said, you know what? Instead of answering your question today, I'm just going to send you the podcast tonight because it's going to answer everything that you need.
I think that's such a common question that we've gotten. I mean, for me, that's definitely an FAQ, like a frequently asked question, like something that definitely a lot of people want to know. And it's something where I want to say it's definitely a lot more attainable than you think. You just need to have a good plan. You need to have a schedule for it. And like Robbie said, if you want to go above and beyond, you can even go to the amount of packing your food, and if you have I don't think it's that difficult. Actually, I've seen a lot of different people do that. But we also can give you, there's different strategies that we can use when you travel that you can follow more of a macro based meal plan. You can still log your food and you can know by logging your food kind of where you're at. It won't be exact, but it can give us a good ballpark. You don't just want to eat like, excuse my language, but you don't want to eat like shit, while you're on vacation. That's just going to make it worse. You don't just want to not work out at all because you're on vacation. Using those excuses as reasons not to do the things that need to get done are ultimately just going to make it that much harder when you get back home to get back into the swing of things. So do what you can on vacation, even if it's just walk, walk, walk. Everybody knows that on vacation we're doing more walking than on average. That's just how it is, especially if you're going to a place like Europe, or any of these like extravagant places where you're going to see a lot of stuff and do like a lot of tourist things. You're going to be walking. So yeah, I think we're going to touch on a lot of different things today, but don't let traveling. I definitely wanted to get that one as one of my main points. Don't let traveling be an excuse for you not to get the things done that you need to your weekly objectives, your non-negotiables. Those things don't change just because you're on vacation. So
Absolutely. I completely agree. And we all know, like, there's things that come up when you're away that kind of messes with your plan a little bit. For example, my brother's wedding, I was out all day. So like going back to the hotel, I didn't have time to go back to the hotel. Did I mess up my diet that day? Absolutely. Did I eat to the best of my ability? No, I ate like shit. Like, I'll be completely honest. Like, I try, like, for the entrees and stuff like that. Like, it was definitely normal foods, but wedding foods, man, they don't, at the end of the day, they don't hit your macros the way you want them to. So I took an L for a day, but that Sunday, it was on a Friday, so that Saturday, what I did was I did what I preached to all my clients. There's a list of foods that I create for my clients, and they're macro friendly foods. So like for traveling specifically. So if we have your macros in our app, right, and then we have the set macros you're supposed to hit, your calories, your carbs, your proteins, and fats. What I do is I create a list with which John, that client that I was talking to, will get that list for traveling, right? And then those, it's just easy foods that you could bring on your travel. So you could bring on the plane, you could bring on like while you're going out during the day. So little things which I could actually go over right now then. Protein shakes. Protein shakes make it easy to hit your protein goal. Do we suggest having protein shakes for the whole entire day to hit your protein goal? Absolutely not. But it helps get that protein up. Protein bars. If your protein bars for carbs, or for protein, carbs, rice cakes, super easy way to get those carbs up. Rice cakes are lifesavers. And then for fats, easy fats, peanut butter, peanuts, almonds, easy fats to hit those that fat goal. Now, when it comes to eating out, like actual meals, okay, those are to snack on for when you can't get your macros in throughout the day, right? But when it comes to getting your meals in, super easy. Chipotle, right? Chipotle, you could literally get a rice bowl with steak, with chicken, with anything you really want in there. You could go to get a salad with chicken. There's a bunch of different options. And how do you plug that in? A lot of my clients are like, how the hell do I plug that into my Fitness Pal or the app to transfer over? And a lot of these places like Chipotle have the bowls literally in my Fitness Pal. You could write down, or you could put down the exact bowl that you had from Chipotle, and my Fitness Pal will have it. So a lot of places like that, like my Fitness Pal has, to just plug in, and then you'll see it transfer over to your macros. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I love that. And yeah, I think that you touched on a lot of good things. I think one of the best things that Robbie touched on was the little things like the protein shakes, the protein bars. One of the things that I stress is do what we can. And there's no matter where you go, no matter where you're traveling to, there's going to be options, little convenience stores where you can stock up on these things, keep them in your room. And when you're having a tough day, when you know that the food is low, you are out doing things all day, make sure to get that protein shake in, those protein bars, pack them with you. If you know you're going to be in meetings all day and traveling for meetings, make sure you pack those, so you know if you can't have a time designated to go and have one of those meals, you can hold yourself down with those, so you're not tempted to go and have a quick desire that you don't really want just because you're really hungry after a long day of work, so. And those are for everyone travels for different reasons. If you're on vacation, like an actual vacation, and you've had months of doing well on your training and doing well on your face to face, then of course we don't expect you not to indulge. There's going to be days where we know that you're going to have, you know um pretty much a cheat day, and that's acceptable, especially if you've been doing really well on the program and you've worked up to this vacation. Know that you've worked hard for it. Outside of your fitness goals, you've been working hard for it, and within your fitness goals, working hard for it. So when you go there, you can take a day, you can take it 2 days to kind of reset the body. But when you're there, don't just go to complete shit. Look up, if you're traveling to a major city, I guarantee you there's going to be a meal prep service company near you that you can look up in the city before you get there. Or like Robbie stated, go with the healthy options. There's so many different healthy options nowadays. There's so many different varieties other than Chipotle too that are just as good as Chipotle. Look them up in the city that you're in. We have plenty here in Tampa, from Fresh Kitchen to So Fresh, Chipotle, Moe's. You can switch it up. It's not like you have to go to one different spot, but a place that has the basic necessities that your meal carries that we have written down, then go to that. Don't go and get something completely different, when you know that you can stick to the food list that we provide. It doesn't even have to be the specific meal. Like Robbie said, most of you guys are having a food list that is provided to you. And yeah, so I think that Robbie, to answer your question, you touched on a lot of good things. And I think it's important for the preparation is key. Like, just like I said, looking up gyms, super easy, just get a day pass. You don't have to spend your regular hour and a half in there, or go in there, little rest times, bang out a 45-minute to an hour workout, get a good sweat in. You're not trying to you're probably not going to hit any of your max goals on vacation, but at least go in there and try to hit the weight that you did in the previous week, and if you do hit a PR on vacation, look at that, just another thing to
Yeah.
write home about. I can't say I've done it, but I'm sure somebody has.
Yeah, I'm sure you're able to, especially if you are taking one of those days to indulge and you haven't had that kind of day in a while. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're going to be pushing heavier weight. You touched on a really good one, the meal prep companies. There's prep companies in every city. And when it comes to, I'm trying to incorporate MyFitnessPal for macro count, like calculating when you're on like traveling or on vacation. If that city has a meal prep company, you're exactly right. I think that's one of the best options you could possibly do, because on the meal prep company, on the label, there'll be that the scanning code label. So on MyFitnessPal, that meal prep company definitely put all of their meals on MyFitnessPal already, because that's probably one of their selling points. Like, we're on MyFitnessPal. If a meal prep company isn't on MyFitnessPal, they're probably not a good meal prep company. So
Not only that, Robbie, but if you do have MyFitnessPal Pro, which I think you do got to pay for it, it's like $5 a month or something like that. I don't know what it is,
worth it.
but you can actually customize. So you don't even need, if let's say if you scan it in, or there's no scan, there's no QR code, like Robbie said, you can manually input the carbs, proteins, and fats you had for that meal and just label the meal like meal number 2, and then manually put it in. So that's just another reason why to do the meal prep companies. And the majority of them, yeah, the foods are genuinely, I mean, healthy. They're not the best, like super, like, but they're super convenient and they are pretty good, and they're not super expensive. So it's a good way to save money while you're traveling as well. And everybody knows that you're already on vacation, you're already spending a lot of money no matter what it's for. Even if it's for work and they're paying for you, you might as well pocket some money and go into these meal prep companies and save some money instead of going out to these nice restaurants all the time. And it's really hard no matter where you go. I don't care if it's a nice restaurant, the food digests differently than these clean meals regardless. So that's a note to take home too. There's a reason why this food is so good. They're using a lot of butter, different oils, and I'm telling you, you're still going to get more out of it if you look up a meal prep company. You don't have to eat every meal from them, but get the majority of your meals through them. If you're traveling to these major cities and you don't feel like packing your meals, or you don't feel like cooking, or you don't have access to a kitchen, look up a meal prep company. I bet there's one within 5 miles of you. Get an Uber there. If you have a car, drive there, pick up the meals, or they might even have a delivery. So
Yep.
pretty simple.
Yeah, there's so many options. There's so many options when you travel. It's like, do you have to throw the whole entire vacation away with how you're eating? Absolutely not. Are you gonna eat some days how you want to eat? Absolutely. It's called vacation for a reason. You're not just taking a vacation away from everything just to, you know what I mean? So but another question is, how bad do you want it? Like, if this is something that you want and you have been pushing for a really long time, are you going to throw it away? Do you want to throw it away, or do you want to take this podcast and then actually put in the work on your vacations as well? Because if you're somebody who wants it bad, and you want to put in the works on your vacations, then we're giving you the exact tools you need to do to be able to get there. For instance, if I didn't mess up on my brother's wedding day, what I could have done is I could have remembered, hey, today's the wedding day. Today, I'm not probably going to be in the hotel for a while. I could have brought a meal prep to the wedding with me. People are going to look at you funny, right? People are going to look at you funny, but those kind of people that are looking at you funny don't have the same goals as you. You know what I mean? So, vacations are vacations. You could take them two different ways. You could actually, in the back of your head, you could ask yourself how bad you want it at the same time.
Right. And for the people that are traveling a lot, it's different for the people that are vacationing. I think Robbie knows what I'm talking about. There's some people who will travel once every 6 months, and I want you to, I want you to have a good time, you know. I want you to have a good time. And for sure you're going to do so on the trip. But if your job requires a lot of traveling, you cannot let that be a block on your goals, because I get tired of hearing that as an excuse, as, oh, you know, I'm traveling. Like, hey man, we always are traveling, so we can't use that as an excuse. We need to figure out what our best bet is here, and we need to go with it. And a lot of the people that are traveling for business are going to the same cities, so you should be familiar with a place, a couple of different places, and be able to, you know, have a variety to choose from at this point, from different meal services that you like. But like Robbie said, it's about how bad you want it, because these are all things that when I get to a place, or when I'm going to a place, it's something that I have to calculate into my plans, because I know that, hey, this is something that I got to do. And like Robbie said, people are going to look at me funny. I just was on a trip to Italy, and I had to do what I had to do to get my macros in. A lot of the food there, you know, it wasn't the same food that we have here in America, you know, so I had to change it up. And I was eating at all times of the day, and my buddies are looking at me like, geez, man, you eat like 5, 6 times a day. And you know, some people aren't going to understand, you know, that that's what it takes, especially when you have a goal of trying to, you know, put on size, gain muscle tissue. You know, you're going to be eating a lot. So when you're on vacation, I'm trying to ramp it up and stay where I need to. And it's difficult because you're eating a lot when
Exactly.
you're at home.
Exactly. And you're exactly right when it comes to, if you're in a growth, like let's take it to being in a growth phase or being in like a shred phase, right? And you're not traveling for work or anything like that, but you're on full blown vacation. Like you said earlier, you're gonna be doing a lot more steps during the day than you're used to. So if you're in a growth phase and you realize like, hey, I'm gonna be doing a lot more steps, I'm probably gonna be burning a lot more calories than I'm used to, then you need to, at least you need to think about, if you're not going to be on plan, you need to think that I need to eat more than I usually eat, you know. Or somebody who's shredding, okay, well, I just got 30,000 steps today, I burnt 5,000 calories today. Okay, well, honestly, you, if you have an extra meal than you usually do, it's probably not that big of a deal if we're looking calories burnt versus calories in at that point. But how do we track that? Using your Fitbit, using your Apple Watch, using something to be able to see how many calories you burn for that day.
Yeah, it's I think that the majority of people have, you know, something like that. It's just if you're utilizing it. And but what I mean by that is like an Apple Watch or something that is tracking, you know, your food. It's like My Fitness Pal is free. You know, you don't have to have the pro one, but it's something super easy to track all your meals. I know it takes a little bit of extra time, but once you get the hang of it, it's it literally takes an extra 30 seconds out of your day. And it helps us, you know, if you're one of our clients listening, it helps us a lot when, you know, you're logging your stuff and we don't have to ask you, you know, how the week went, you know, how did the meals go this week. Instead, it's logged. We can check it during the check-in together. We'll go over everything, see what days we missed, see what days we went over. And a lot of the time, the people that are logging, from my experience, I noticed, are the people that are hitting their goals. And the people that are not hitting their goals are the ones that are trying to shy away from not logging it. So like I said, you know, doing these little things, it's all about, you know, how bad you want it. And, you know, this whole meaning of this podcast is, you know, getting after it while you're on vacation, because a lot of people, if you're just, you know, a regular person, maybe you're just, you go to vacation and you don't work out at all, you know. Okay, well, the most people that are, you know, into fitness or working out, or that is their lifestyle, when they go on vacation, they're still having that itch to go work out, because it's part of it's in their schedule. It's something that they do. So it's something that we expect everybody on the team to do, and we try to motivate everyone to do, because it's something that we do. And I don't think it's something that should stop you from getting in the way of your goals, especially if you're staying there for like 7, 8 days. Like, you should definitely find some time to eat clean and hit the gym. You don't want to feel like trash and not get any workouts in for that long.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Stop using travel as an excuse. Stop
Yep.
doing it, because you know what? We have clients that are flight attendants. We have clients that are pilots that have the craziest transformations. And how do they do it if they're traveling all day? Because they were able to track still. You're able to do it. If you plan ahead, you're able to do it. So if you're a client and you use that excuse, I'm going to kindly ask you to shut the up.
Robbie will say that as well. I can vouch for that.
I blurped out the F.
No, I heard.
In this. Um, but yeah, stop using that excuse. I mean, when we go on vacation, there's a time where we make a big thing of chicken for the whole entire week. Will that chicken probably go bad? Yeah, whatever. Make more chicken. It's like this is our lifestyle. Vacation, you go on vacation to relax and have fun, right? So if you're going to relax and have fun, and one of the things of for us is the gym of being fun, right? We think of the gym as fun, and not everybody thinks of it, but everybody has goals. But we think of the gym as fun. We're gonna plan the gym in our vacation because that's part of our fun. You know?
Yeah, and it's like the only mandatory, like and it's like for me when I'm on vacation, like a true vacation, it's like the only mandatory thing that I feel like I have to do for the day, because the rest of the stuff I'm pretty much on, don't bother me time. So it's like it's the one thing that I really just it feels good to get done. I usually do it first thing in the morning and I'm done with it. I carry about my day. So and that's another good thing about waking up early, which we talked about on the last podcast, is that you have more opportunities to get things done on vacation, like going to hit the gym, because usually you got something scheduled throughout the day, so it's tough to fit things in. And when you're at the end of the day on vacation, yeah, the majority of people aren't wanting to hit the gym, but if you can get up and go get after it first thing in the morning and be done with it, then you can carry about your day, the way that you like.
That's exactly right. Because
Yeah.
every vacation I've ever been on, I did all my workouts in the morning when people were still sleeping or just getting up, just to get it done and then spend the time with them the rest of the day. I
Exactly.
didn't think of that. Yeah, that's exactly what you should do. Just get up, get it done, and then enjoy your day.
Yeah, that's what I always recommend to anyone who is traveling. It's so much harder, especially after a long day, after a long day period. But you know how vacation days are, those days are long, and usually it requires some lines or some tourist stuff involved, and it just takes a lot of energy out of you. So once you get back, it's like you want that dinner with the family or with whoever you're traveling with. And for me, that's probably the end of the night after that. So I like to
Yeah.
get the workout in to start the day. Everyone's sleeping, just waking up. You're coming back in through the door. Everyone's like, "Oh, this guy." But at the
But
end of the
your
day,
endorphins are running. Your endorphins are like, yo, I'm ready to go. Let's go to the
yeah,
beach. Let's go to the
yeah,
beach.
exactly.
And everybody's still drinking their coffee, like, what?
What?
But that's our life, man, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. Or even if you don't love it, learn to love it. And if you don't want to learn to love it, hey, you still got a goal, so figure it out. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Hey, hey, everyone's got their different motivations. So,
Right?
but yeah, I honestly, and I love working out at different gyms. I always have. So that's a big motivation for me. And it's nice to that's the one thing that makes me feel really good, relieve some stress. So on vacation too, it's weird because I know that on vacation, everyone knows this. Stress is supposed to be like not a thing on vacation, but stress is always for some reason it's always pretty high on vacation.
It's always still there.
It's always how it is. Like I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the work that needs to get done back home, or maybe it's just like the stress of like I don't know. It's like you're supposed to just be having the best time. So like every little thing is like, in under a microscope type of deal. But
Yeah.
it feels really good to work out. If you have never worked out before on vacation, it's like a non-negotiable for you. You don't think that you should do it. Try it out. It's
It might change your vacation and how you feel about it.
yeah, it's really it helps out a lot. And I think that you shouldn't stop your good habits just because you're on vacation.
Yeah, I agree. And you brought something up that it reminded me of one of my vacations when I went. You said that you like going to a new gym in different cities and stuff. So this reminded me of when I went to Key West and I went to a gym. It was like grungy as hell, like so grungy, so badass. Like if you were to like cut yourself in there, like you probably need to go get a tetanus shot.
Oh.
It was amazing. But I remember working out in there, and then all of a sudden a chicken starts. I was doing lat pull downs, and a chicken starts like come walking by me, and then another chicken. And then this whole gym was just full of fucking chickens, and I'm like, in Key West, because like that's the thing there, like there's just a bunch of chickens. And
Yeah.
if you're watching this podcast and you've been to Key West, you've been to the gym in Key West, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it was hysterical. There's a shit ton of chickens everywhere while I'm like doing lat pull downs. So that was exciting. That was funny. That was a story to tell.
Yeah, I will say the gyms in Italy, it was the first place I went to where like I think in Italy there's like fitness is not like a big thing. You correct me if I'm
Paco
wrong.
said that. Paco said
Um,
the exact thing.
yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone who listens to the pod, but Paco seems to agree with me as well. But gyms are not a big thing. Like I found gyms, but they were definitely a lot smaller. Like I was in there picking up, and I told Robbie this when I was out there. I picked up like the heaviest dumbbells, dusted them off, and hit them for like 10 to 12. I think it was like equivalent to like 110 dumbbells, maybe. In kg, but like everyone in the small gym was like looking at me, like, oh my gosh, like they never had seen that
Yeah.
before. But it's really small, really compact. They do more of like group classes. It seems like there isn't a lot of like weight bodybuilding or like weight training going on in there. But they did have the gyms. Trust me, no matter where you go, they will have a gym, and I found one in every major city in Italy that I traveled to, except for Cinque Terre. I will say that I did not find a gym there, but I was only there for one day, so I used that as my rest day. But I went to the gym, I think 5 out of the 8 days, so I wasn't perfect, when I was traveling, but I got 5 days in, and I didn't have zero, so it felt a lot.
Exactly.
Those days meant a lot to me, trust me, and it helped me out a lot with the way I felt on vacation and before I went to the gym, because I went like the first 2 or 3 days not, and it was a total difference in the way I felt, and I mean that. So
Yeah, it makes sure it releases the endorphins in the morning and it just starts your day. And yeah, I mean, Italy, maybe you just couldn't find a gym that was like bodybuilding, like prioritized. But when I was in Spain, like I feel like every gym we went to was like there was one that was more of like a family kind of gym and like older individuals, but then we went to a couple, and it was like there was some decent like bodybuilders there.
yeah.
So yeah, so maybe you never know. I know in Spain there
Yeah,
was.
I'm sure there was. I'm sure there was.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I would have asked around to the locals, they would have had a spot, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just looking on Google, someplace I can walk to close to my Airbnb. And that's what I'm saying. That's how easy it is, like I still found a place that I could go and get my workout in, had Smith machine, dumbbells, some machines. That's all I need. I'm gonna be able to supplement to be able to get what I need to get done just with the minimum. But I'm sure there was like big gyms if I would have Ubered,
The
to a
I
spot.
think the States is probably the biggest bodybuilding country, because now that I think about it, there's a buddy of mine in my gym who's from Russia, and he I was like, what do you think of what do you think of the gyms here? He's like, this is like Disneyland, man. We don't have this. It's like nobody thinks about bodybuilding. Nobody really like watches bodybuilding. I can't find a coach out there. He's like, this is like Disneyland. So I think the States is probably like the biggest bodybuilding country. And correct me if I'm wrong, if somebody's watching this and they think their country is a little, maybe I'm biased. Uh but you never know. We have just a couple minutes left. Did you want to touch up on anything else before we head out?
I'm looking at best country
Yeah,
for
let's see.
for
I love it.
Yeah, it looks like USA is number one, Canada number two, Brazil number
That
three, and
makes sense.
Great Britain number four.
Wow. Brazil number 3. Okay.
Yeah, so that is what it looks like right now.
Canada,
So
I can see Canada. Canada has a huge bodybuilding scene for sure. I mean, Chris Bumstead just
yeah,
moved from Canada, right?
yeah, I'm I'm not too big at with names and knowing where everyone's from. Um, but I can see Canada being up there for sure. I can see
Are
Canada
you,
being up there.
speaking of names, are you watching the Olympia this weekend?
I am actually going to tune in for that. I'm going to see my dad in Texas, so I'm going to be spending some time with him. But my TikTok feed has been like all the lead up to it, so I'm getting ready for it. It's
Well,
going to be
I
all
know you
good.
don't know names, but Nick Walker, man. He
Yeah,
was like,
he's the mutant.
you know him. So yeah, we talked about him. Did you hear what happened to
Yeah,
him?
no,
This is peak week for him. This is peak week. Literally, the Olympia is on Saturday. He tore his hamstring literally this week. He's in Orlando right now. Traveled there and everything and tore his hamstring. So he can't do the show. He did his whole entire prep.
oh my
And he, dude,
gosh,
in my honestly, he was like my top two. So how shitty I feel. My heart goes out to him because that, like, I can't imagine just going through my prep and then that last week where you're like, fuck, I finally made it. Cause like that last week, you're like, yeah, like I made it through hell. And then that happens. Like, imagine.
I would be devastated, man.
Crazy, crazy. But all right, real quick, happy Halloween, everyone. I hope everybody has the best night. I hope you enjoy candy if it's your cheat night. Um, but yeah, we're gonna tune out, and then we will catch you guys for next weekend. Hopefully, Kate will be feeling better. And yeah, do you got anything else?
Now, shout out Ben, one of my clients who made the client of the week this week. He deserves it. He has killed it.
Amazing.
Really has slimmed down, been following protocol, sends me all his videos with questions he has form on. But he's always active in the team chat, supporting the guys, and he deserves client of the week. He's done a really good job. He's cut down on some weight, but more importantly, been putting on some good muscle, and following the instructions. Got the blood glucose down for him, and we're ready to start packing on some size right on time for these winter months. So we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. And you know something about Ben that I notice every check-in call I have with him is he's enjoying it. Like you could tell when
Oh
somebody's
yeah, he
enjoying
is.
it. And he's
Oh yeah,
enjoying
he
it.
is.
So it makes it really, as coaches, it makes us feel good. So yeah, good job, Ben. Really good job. You look great.
Yep.
All
Awesome.
right.
Well, that's all I had today.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Let me stop.